Hi guys, it's John here, and this is just a very quick video on setting up a Streamr node. So if you add a node onto the Streamr network, you're joining the 5,962 other nodes in the fully decentralized and scalable protocol for basically transferring data between multiple points. So I highly recommend you watch the intro video. This is just a 60-second video on what Streamr is all about. Just puts it down in sort of layman's terms as to what you're doing, but you're basically providing bandwidth to the network to allow different Web3 projects to communicate. So currently the APY for running a node is 33%, and each node that you run can stake a maximum of 20,000 tokens. So that's about $693. So a 33% APY on that is not bad at all. So yeah, today I'm going to be setting up a node on one of my Linux boxes, and I'll put a link obviously to the white paper and everything else so you can have a read in the description of this video. So here are a good few tips that they have at the start of the documentation. Again, I've linked this down below. So you can actually run up to 5 nodes per IP address. So you could have 5 nodes running on your single home connection. Rewards are paid out at the beginning of the following month and transferred to the wallet that you use for staking. And like I said earlier, you can only store a maximum of 20,000 per node. You can have more staked, but you only get paid for that first 20,000. What I'll be using is one of my mini PCs for this. I've got some setup instructions in the description if you want to quickly check those out first, but I'll put a link down to that in the description. I've run quite a few different things on this Linux box, so it's quite handy. And just adding another service onto it isn't going to stress it at all. So that is what I'm going to use for this video. Now, as you can run Docker on Windows, you could set this up on a Windows computer as well, so that's completely up to you. I'm just going to be using Linux because Docker on Linux is just much more lightweight and doesn't use as many resources. If you've got a Mac as well, it does support macOS, and I imagine the instructions will be pretty much the same as well. So let's carry on with the video and get it installed. So my node has already got Docker installed, so I don't need to worry about getting that set up. So what we're going to do first is step 1. We just create the directory, we set some permissions. After that, we then run the config wizard, and that should be it, apart from obviously adding our beneficiary address. Okay, so here I am on my Linux node, and what we're going to do is just create the directory required for the Streamr Docker container to run in. Now, don't forget, I do already have Docker installed on here. If you don't, then you're going to need to install it. So if you just do a sudo docker ps, you'll be able to see whether your installation of Docker has been completed successfully. If you don't have any images running yet, you'll see nothing listed here. I've got my pre-search node running here, so that's why this is showing up. So what we can do now is just carry on. We know our Docker's working, and we're going to set up the new Streamr container. So we're first going to make the directory, the Streamr Docker1 directory here. If we do an ls-lah, see our container has appeared, or our folder for the container. We're then going to run the command to make sure that the permissions on the folder are correct. Going to do it on every Stream Docker folder in here. Now we've called it 1 because this is our first node. Now if I was going to run multiple on here, then I could obviously create a 2, 3, 4. So once that's done, let's just check. And you can see now the permissions have changed. So we've gone to the 777 permissions, and the folder is now showing as green. So now we're going to run this command to actually install this. So all I'm going to do is just double click and copy this, and then just paste this with a right click into my window here, and then just hit on enter. Okay, so once the installation is finished, it's going to ask you if you want to generate or import an Ethereum private key. We're going to generate a brand new one here. Now it's going to ask you if you want to see this key that's generated. Press yes. Even though it's going to store it in the config file, we want to make sure we have a backup of it. So once your key has appeared on the screen, take a copy of that and just store it somewhere safe, print it out, or save it on a local disk somewhere that's password protected, and make sure you don't lose that. Okay, so on the next screen here, just press enter to select the defaults. It's going to ask you if you want to participate in the mining and staking, so just press yes. And this is the path where your key is going to be stored in, so make sure you take a copy of that just in case you forget. Press enter just to accept. Okay, so this path that it's said here is actually not correct. We haven't put it in /home/streamer. We put it in /home, and then we've got the Streamr data folder that we created. So what we're going to do is just find that folder where this default JSON file is. Okay, so if we just do an ls-lah again, you can see, remember we created this folder here. So what we're going to go do is change directory into .streamrdocker1. Keep pressing tab and you'll see it autofills the next folder, which is the config folder. So in here we should do an ls -lah, and we can see our default .json file here. So this is the one that was just generated. So let's edit this file now with vi space default.json. So you can see here from the documentation, we need to make sure that we have the beneficiary address added after the Brubeck minor section here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, on our file here, press I to insert, and we're going to just hit return a couple of times here. And now we've got a space here where we can set our beneficiary address. So let's guess our code that we need. And we just need this part here. We don't need the full address because obviously there's nothing there. So go back to our config file here and right click. And now what we can do, we'll put a close bracket here. We're going to paste in our polygon address. Let's go back to my notepad file. This is the polygon address I'm going to use here. So let's copy and paste that in. So again, right click to paste. And we've now got everything set up as we need. Just to clean up a bit, we can delete the space here. Make sure you include that final curly bracket there. And once you're happy, just press escape, do a colon, and then do WQ to write, and then quit out of that file. Okay, so now if you haven't already, you need to get your data into your wallet. So again, if you're using MetaMask, send your data tokens to your MetaMask account. I'm going to use my Ledger for this, so I'm going to send it to my Ledger account. Okay, so here's my data, and I put $250 in yesterday. It's gone down a bit, but what we're going to do is just go down to withdraw, and then we're going to withdraw to the Polygon network. Let's just do a quick test first, make sure it comes through. And the minimum I can test with here is 13. So I'm going to make sure that goes through, and then I can set the rest of it up. Okay, so once we're happy we've got all our data in our beneficiary address, we can now start up the broker node. If we copy this command, right click it here, and just hit enter. Okay, so once that's running or finished, we can do a sudo docker ps, and that will tell us if it's running in the container correctly. See, our Streamr broker node has now appeared and is showing as Streamr 1. So if you wish, you can follow the logs here and just see what's going on with your Streamr node. That could be useful if you're having any problems. And from here we can see we can now view our node in the Network Explorer. So let's give that a go now. Just select that URL. We're going to paste it into a new window here. And here we are, this is it. Effort Saddle Wall is our new node that we've got set up. So that's it. Now we can just wait for our data tokens to be paid into our wallet, and that's it. That's how you can earn a 33% APY running a Streamr node. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave any questions you have down below. So quick shout out to those who recommended Streamr to me. Got Rizcaster, JR346 and Norman A. So yeah, any other projects you think I should get into, do let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.